This better fucking work. Oh, look at me. I'm a fucking professional. Great way to start the show. Hey, normally you're going to hear hey-o, or whatever Paul does, but he's not here today. He's on a sabbatical. He's on vacation. We've been making so much money at Bass and Brews that we sent him out to the lovely country of Ghana, and he's vacationing there this weekend. So hopefully he's spreading the good word of Bass and Brews. So we brought on guest host Carolina Thump, prior guest of the show, and now he's hosting it.
AKA the poor man's Paul, and I'll do my intro. Hey, you guys.
I love it. All right. Normally, you guys don't see everybody, right? I'm going to tell you this right now. Last week, we had an episode with Nick from Cast and Crank. That guy might be onto something where he only interviews folks if they're in person, right? We have had some technical fucking difficulties through the ass, as to the point where we've already recorded a whole 15 minutes and had to cut out. I fucking hate Motel 6 internet. Yeah, and I mean, at this point, I'm supposed to run through some song and dance, but I'm like, fuck that. We're going to go right to the guest. Primary Jumpmaster, how are you, brother?
I'm making it. You know, at least I'm not drinking beer out of the sink at Motel 6.
No shit. It's fucking gross.
No judgment here if you are, Alex. We've all been there.
I will say, if you guys don't know Primary Jumpmaster, I found out about him on TikTok. He's been kind of one of the guys who pushed me to this fish talk revolution, as I'm starting to call it. I know I covered it on the Hookset Hoodlums Hoodlum cast. If you get the first half of that, I definitely dropped what I think is good knowledge, but then I got way too fucking annihilated and I just slur through the rest of it. But you, Primary Jumpmaster, and Carolina, Tony, you were one of the guys that I definitely caught on to first because you are definitely a traditional style guy, it feels like. But you were taking this leap into a platform that is normally for shaking asses and doing dances. And you were dropping knowledge, really good tutorials, and then your really dark sense of humor, which I really appreciate. Like pine cones are a huge thing with you.
Yeah. Anybody that doesn't agree with me can just, I got a bunch of woods out behind me. There's some pine trees back there. They can pick up a pine cone and you know what to do with it if you follow my TikTok. But yeah, I'm kind of like you. I stumbled on TikTok, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I got on TikTok. I got a herd of kids. I got a weapon squad over here. And my kids were on TikTok. And I got on it deer season before last, sitting in the deer stand with AirPods. And let me tell you, TikTok's got an algorithm. Without ever posting a video, they know. So I'm in a tree stand, and there was hunting video after hunting video while I'm in the stand. And I never posted a video. And then it come time to fish, and I started seeing fishing videos. And I was like, okay, let me throw something out there now. So they got it going on. I think TikTok's it's the future platform for fishing.
Wow. Yours did that automatically? I showed up on TikTok, and it was divorced dad and other weird things. I had to, go through it.
What did it know that you didn't at that point?
I don't know. Maybe it read my blood pressure.
Yeah.
Your guess is as good as mine.
No, but it's really good to see you out there. Again, you are not a fad guy, I will say. Like, you don't run you're not running the trends. You're putting out solid information. Like, I'm actually about ready to release a whole video on how to make content about fishing. But you cover, Paul says it all the time. Rest in peace, Paul, on his trip in Ghana. But you say, or he says it all the time, where you either need to be entertaining or you need to be educational. And you cover that educational, but then that little pine cone sense of humor comes in, where you like clap back right at those haters. I fucking love your channel. It's great.
Yeah. The one I don't get is the hate for so the whole thing, if you go on my channel, was a lot of why are you posting while you're in uniform and this and that and the other. And a lot of it is just I come home from work and I'm scrolling through TikTok at work all day and I see something, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do a video on this. And if you watch my TikTok, you've seen my shop where I keep everything hung up on my tackle. And I'll go right from work and do a video real quick or before work. And then instantly the hate comments, but I love them. I mean, it gives your channel traction, so I'll take every one of them. But I don't understand the hate for the uniform comments, but I'll keep doing it. I was in the Boy Scouts too. So that's a thing.
I will say it is really weird. I saw a lot of those comments where, so like, I mean, if you guys don't know, Jumpmaster currently serves, and we thank you for your service. I said this in the other recording. I'm going to drop it again. Enjoy your lifetime of Applebee free dinners on November 11th. But like you, but you don't mention your military service, right? You just happen to be in uniform, and you can tell. And I like that, like Carolina, that's what drew me to your channel too, right? Like you guys are hitting them off the cuff. There's no planning. You guys are like, I mean, I'm sure there's planning, but it doesn't seem like it. Like you guys are hitting real life reactions. And when I first saw your shit, like I was like, yo, this guy's just coming home from work. He's got some responses. He's sitting on the TikToks at work, you know, just like I do, in uniform as well. And he's coming out responding to it. But then there was a lot of hate. And a lot of really like confused people on what we can and can't do in uniform.
Oh yeah. That was some crazy shit, man. And a lot of people were like, "You don't even serve. That's so disrespectful." What the fuck?
Yeah, the stolen valor one. That's the one that really gets me. Is the stolen valor. I'm like,
that's
okay,
my favorite.
I'll roll with it. I mean, little do they know, we do this for the meal. We do this for the 11th, right? I get up, I go to IHOP. I'm getting a free meal. Leave a generous tip. Then you go to Texas Roadhouse. Then you turn around and go to Applebee's for supper. That's what it's all about. That's what I do it for. I do it for the meals.
I got you just you just cornered every old guy who served 2 years in the military and was just doing it
the
for
retired
the meals
specialist. The retired Spec 4. That's the best, right?
It's a total side note. Like everybody knows I'm about to retire, so I was like, "Fuck it, I guess I'll join the Coast Guard retiree Facebook page." Such comedy gold.
Thing?
Such comedy gold. Oh yeah, there's a whole retiree page for Coasties, and it's just dudes raging about the Coast Guard, and they're like, "Oh, it's such an embarrassment. I served 2.5 years in the Coast Guard in the '70s, and look what it's become." And I'm like, dude, you're not even out of MOS school in 2 years. What the fuck are you talking about? Like,
all 27 of you guys on there ranting. All 27 of you.
Dude, it's either that or people upset because Ace Hardware doesn't have a Coast Guard flag.
Oh, do they at least offer a discount for you though?
No, actually Ace doesn't, because they're total side note, but their company policy is skewed, so they only offer DOD, and because the Coast Guard is not DOD, we don't get a discount there.
Oh
yeah,
fuck.
I usually don't use them because so Lowe's
I never use them.
Lowe's wants you to go get on a computer, put your email in, and I'm like, look, the $1.27 I'm going to save is not worth your spam email.
It's 100%. Yeah, I barely use military discount, but that's beside the point. I want to know how you got into this this fishing game. How long you been fishing?
So really, I grew up dirt floor poor. So fishing and hunting for me, and I got ancestors rolling in their grave every time I'm on the front deck of this Triton and I throw a bass back in a lake. Because for me growing up, that's what we did. I lived on the lake, grew up on Caddo Lake, and we fished.
Where's that at? What state?
That is a Texas-Louisiana lake right on the border. Phenomenal fishery. A lot of double-digit bass. But no, growing up for me, fishing wasn't competitive. it was a lifestyle, I guess. I didn't really get into competitive fishing until I was in the military. I always followed competitive fishing, Bassmasters and such, but I didn't know how to get into it or anything like that until later on in life. But my whole life, I've spent fishing and hunting.
And so you joined the military in, if I remember right, from looking at you in '92, right? Is when you first enlisted.
No, I come in. So my hairline looks like I joined in '92, but I joined in 05 or 06, sometime like that. And I think I'm not far behind you. I'm about 3 years to my retirement, so I'm counting down. I'm ready.
DD 214 alumni. You'll be there soon.
Hey, I will get one of them blank.
We've lost him.
Nope, I had an alarm go off. I will get a DD 214 blanket. I'm talking about. I'm doing my DD. I'm signing it. I'm getting one of the DD 214 blankets, and I'm gonna wrap up in it, and I'm gonna think about everybody going on long runs and stuff like that. I'm gonna go far away from this as I can.
You know what's funny is so I don't know how you guys do it in the Army. In the Coast Guard, we have a thing called a page 7, right? And it's like a derogatory administrative remark, right? It's like when you get in trouble and you get written up.
Oh,
right?
Okay, yeah. We have a counseling statement, yeah.
Gotcha. Same thing. So at 19 and a half years, I have a fucking jacket full of them. Like full of them.
Yeah, what are you going to do with them at this point?
So the plan is we've got them. I'm going to have my DD 214 in the middle of a quilt, and then all my like shitty administrative remarks around it, just to signify that you can that you can make it to the end, right? Like, I mean, I've got shit of like, Petty Officer Kasangwe didn't wake up in time for watch because he was asleep in a stable. That's a fucking real thing I have. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, just all the dumb shit that I've done as a youngster that I was able to get to the end.
You ain't still doing it? I'm still doing it, man.
Listen, I'm so close. I'm trying to keep it. I got 4 months left. I'm trying to keep myself in there.
Oh, that's the perfect time to go out, man. Come on.
Yeah. The only one I've heard that might be better than that is I worked for a GS guy. Mm-hmm. He's retired Army. And he has, he's a GS 14 or 15. He has his Article 15s hanging on the wall. He's prior enlisted. And he's surrounded by officers, and they all have their diplomas on their wall in the office.
I love it.
He has hung up his Article 15s, all his UCMJs on the wall.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty. So that might be what I'm going to do, UCMJs.
I've been UCMJ'd 3 times, right? And my plan is to put them in my bathroom as the Hall of Fame. So when you come to my house and you use my guest bathroom and take a shit, you got to look at all the times that I was shitty.
Oh, yeah. That's good. That's good reading material, too. That's very good reading material.
Listen, some of them are in my younger days. I don't know. Maybe if you guys all go to the Patreon, shameless plug, I'll tell you the dirty truth in 4 months.
Oh man, yeah, we'll have to talk after this. I gotta
But what drove you? And you said you joined the military and then you got into competitive. What drove you to that competitive side?
Honestly, I watched a lot of. I always watched Elite Series and I watched FLW. We're around the same age, but competitive fishing wasn't a thing in school. And then I started seeing Jordan Lee. I didn't go to high school. I got a GED, so I went to 8th grade. But we didn't have high school fishing when I grew up. I wish. Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time, if high school fishing and YouTube was a thing when I was coming up, I'd probably be there. Right? There's no way I'd be in the Army. I wouldn't be putting on a uniform, putting on a workout uniform and running down the road at 5:30. That's for damn sure. I'd probably be out in this bass boat somewhere. But I'm glad that's a thing now. Here in Tennessee, I'm at the old ladies right now, and here in Tennessee, they're doing like middle school fishing now.
No shit.
I wish that was a thing. A principal could have came to me and said, "Hey, you got to have straight A's to be on the fishing team." I'd have had a 4.0 with a quickness. I'm glad we're going in that direction. But no, it was just watching FLW and I text Carolina the other day and sent them a link to there's a FLW used to have a show called Circuit Breaker,
Yeah,
and it was
that was a really
very
good one.
raw. Yeah, it's a very raw show. It shows not just the tournament that you would see on TV. It shows the prep, the travel, and stuff like that. And that's what really, really got me into it, is watching that.
Yeah, you're saying dudes like kiss their families goodbye, getting prepped up, hitting the road,
Yeah,
not having a good, day at the tournament, all that shit.
yeah. It shows ups and downs. You're not just watching who made the Sunday cut, who's in a boat by themselves. You're watching somebody finish in 98th place.
The crash
And
and burn, but the triumphs as well. And it's important to kind of see all that together, man.
oh yeah, yeah. That's anybody that and a lot of people, like I sent that to you. Anybody that talks to me about tournament fishing, I always send them that link, and I'm like, man, watch this. This will really break down tournament fishing. I wish they still ran that show. They should move it over to MLF and run that show. But no. So when I got stationed at Fort Knox, I jumped into BFL when it was still FLW. And I really wanted to go way out of my comfort zone. So I was in Fort Knox, Kentucky, and I looked on the map at the different regions, and I said, okay, I'm going to go fish the Buckeye Division for a season. And let me tell you, the guys that come out of Ohio, anybody listening from Ohio, them guys know how to struggle. I'm talking, you'll go out there for 7 days of practice and catch 5 bass. It is a grind. The Shylock brothers, they came out of there. Wheeler came out
Bill
of the Buckeye
Lowen.
Division. Bill Owen, I met him a couple times. He fished a couple BFLs with us on Tanner's Creek, and I watched him zero on Tanner's Creek.
Damn.
And that really
Bill Lowen's one of those guys that I'm a swim jig guy, right? Like watching Bill Lowen with a swim jig, and then him talk about how the struggles he has on that Ohio River is fucking intense. I didn't know the Shrylocks were out of there too.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're both out of there. I'm gonna tell you, the hardest fishery in the world. I've been everywhere and fished. The hardest place I've ever fished in the world is on the Ohio River. Tanner's Creek and Maysville, Kentucky on the Ohio River. Them are the hardest places to fish. You want to grind out. I'm talking you'll catch a 3-pounder, you'll win big bass, and probably place and get a check. That's how hard it is.
That's fucking crazy.
And you say that was the first year you went and fished that?
Yeah, so the first year I went and fished it. We fished a few small lakes. We fished the Ohio River twice. I made the top 40 or whatever it was you had to make to regionals. And the stars did not align for me. So for regional championship, we were sent to Potomac River. I'm not a tidal fishery guy. I did okay there, but I was way out of my element. I didn't know a damn thing about a tide chart. And then you do have cool guys that you travel with, that you'll hang out with, that'll show you some things and tell you a few things. Actually, I was on a live feed with Brian Thrift, and he just caught a check on the Potomac. And I was in the comments on their live show. I forget what it was called. Let's Talk Fish. And I was like, hey, I'm going to Potomac for regionals. And he shot me a couple of tips that helped. But it's a grind. It's a grind out there. For me, it was. But I think that you need to get out
those tidal fisheries will humble you. Those tidal fisheries are, that's my, that's my thing, right? I'm really, I'll say it. I'm really good at tidal fisheries. I'll fuck up a tidal fishery. I'm awesome at it. But put me on a lake, as I went back home we're at almost a month ago, I was back home, right? I fucking skunked out on a lake. Tidal fishery, I banged them out all day. No fucking problem. I banged them out faster than a gentleman's strip club on a port call.
Hell yeah. No, the tidal fishery, there's a lot of timing. There's a lot of, you need a fast boat to run. There was 2 ways people were doing it. They were either hauling ass, chasing the tide, or they were sitting in the spot waiting for the tide. It was just, I didn't know anything about that. I had an idea about it, but I didn't know. And then we had like the lowest tide ever because of a storm.
That sucks. A blowout tide will fuck you up every time. Like those blowouts just disturb everything.
Yep. There we go. I got a boat stuck where we were practicing. All my water left, and I had to fly by the seat of my pants. But there's real cool guys. If anybody wants to get into Phoenix BFLs, that's a great way to start. I didn't start as a co-angler. I went straight in as a boater, you know, just knowing how to fish. But it's a great way to start, even if you don't have a boat and you just got a little bit of gear. I've got some wild co-angler stories of some guys just showing up with a Walmart sack and a spinning rod. So anybody can do it.
So what were some of your
right?
goals
As long as they got the
that
money,
first
right?
year?
Yeah.
Like,
The goals.
even
So
that-
for me, FLW, when it was FLW, I had a bad taste in my mouth for MLF for a long time. So the first year was great. Regionals didn't work out. My goal was just to make it to regional championship, right? If you make the top 40, you go to regional championship. You don't pay an entry fee. And then the top 5 from regionals go to the All-American. They don't pay an entry fee, and everybody gets a check. And then whoever wins the All-American gets a free ride to FLW. The next year, same thing. But what put a bad taste in my mouth was MLF buyout of FLW. So a lot of the guys I fished with there from different regions, some of them guys actually qualified for the Forest Wood Cup, qualified for a ride on FLW Tour. MLF bought it, and they were like, hey, we don't have to honor this no more. And that kind of put a bad taste in my mouth. And I was like, man, I mean, I wasn't one of them guys that won the All-American or made it to the Cup, but I could only imagine what them guys felt when, who knows how long they was working at that and made it to there, and it got bought out, and they were like, well, we don't have to honor this. Because making it to the Forest Wood Cup was 10 grand, whether you caught a fish or not, you know? People were counting on that. And then they turned around to them same guys and was like, hey, if you want to give us 63,000 in entries, you can come fish the tour. You know, after they ripped them off.
Yeah. That's a nice goal.
But it's getting better. I will say that MLF has improved it every year since. Like the first year, I thought it was terrible. People were calling it the mini little fish league. By people, I mean me. I thought it was terrible. I was like, anybody can go out there and catch a bunch of one.
Listen, Jacoby Wheeler was cashing checks on 1 pound bass. And
oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's wild.
Yeah. It was insane. I like the way they're going. I like the way they're going with it.
I have I'm maybe unpopular, obviously, right? Because I called him Jacoby. I think so. One, their production is way better than Bass, right? Like their production is phenomenal. I wish Bass would like step it up. Right?
Yeah, the Elite Series needs to do their camera deal.
They really do. But I was actually an early onset guy of like I like MLF, and maybe it was the production value. But when I watched that whole first year go out, and I watched Jacoby fucking, you know, win the whole fucking thing by
win 6 of them in a row.
Right, 6 of them in a row with a Ned rig, a Guggen Baits Ned rig at that, right? Win that whole
fucking
thing.
Don't get me started on Guggen, bro.
Listen, we'll fucking get into it. It's Bass and Brews, bro. This is
beat down.
But once I saw that after the first season, I actually switched back to Bass. I understand what they're talking about, the maybe the better angler, but I personally think there was a couple times in MLF where you would have drama at the end where a dude would get on a flurry and just start pounding 2-pounders, right? And I think it was Brian Thrift who did that to win the Redwood Cup?
The second year. Oh, no,
the second year, right? Who was that?
That was the first year, and that was I can't think of his name right now.
But you know what I'm talking about? Like at the
It'll
end,
come to me in a minute.
Hour,
yep.
In the last
and it was
hour,
in Wisconsin on the Mississippi River, La Crosse.
Absolutely.
I can't remember his name, but it was in La Crosse, Wisconsin. Square bill.
But and I mean that was exciting, right? But as a whole, again, there was a lot of dudes, and I know they changed the rules, which is good. I actually moved back to where I like their traditional 5 better. I think it's.
So A-Train knows I went to MLF here on Watts Bar. We went out and fished around, messed with the guys. And I've been to a lot of elite events, a lot of FLW before it was MLF, the top FLW, what now they call the Pro Tour or something. But there's something about bringing 5 big bass to the scale, right? Like you got crowds there, you got fans there. There's something about it. And that first year of MLF, when the guys that qualified for the Classic left MLF to come back and fish the Classic, you could tell who was going to leave MLF. Like when Ike come up there, I'm not an Ike fan. I've had some weird run-ins with Ike. I'm not an Ike fan at all. I know you're a Jersey. That's your people.
Oh, no. But, hold on. Everybody should revert back to last week's episode. I explained my beef with him.
I know. I'm just messing with you. But you could tell with them guys when they talk. G-Man, Ike, you could tell at that Classic who was coming back.
I don't know if you ever saw the clip with G-Man. He was Gerald Swindle. So he was sitting and he was talking about the stress of it, right? And a lot of people gave him shit because he talked about, like, he broke down on the water live on camera on MLF Live, right? He broke down about how he's catching good fish, but not enough of them. And everywhere else, and he just talked about the format. Maybe that's for some anglers, but when I could see a guy, like, I fucking love Swindle. I think he's fucking great. He's everything that I like out of a professional bass fisherman. By that I mean he's kind of white trash, but he's a fucking hammer, and he's just a normal dude. And I love all of that.
You can have a beer
with the Ricky Bobby.
Yes, exactly. And he talked about it. And you could see, like, this dude knows what the fuck he's talking about, right? I was one of those guys who wasted money and went to a Bass U, like, live, right? The best thing about that, though, was that he was there. And it was the fucking best. Like, I paid way too much money to do this fucking thing. I'd only been bass fishing for 2 years. And I was like, I'm going to learn from the pros. And they were all like garbage. Like, I got everything off of YouTube. But when he spoke about, like, real shit. And it was, like, not scripted. Like, I can't remember what he was supposed to talk. I think he was supposed to talk about jig colors. And he just went into, like real world shit. It was the best 2 hours that I've ever had in bass fishing. And watching him break down, I'm like, fuck, dude. Like, I don't know. I was so happy that he got out of that.
The great thing with him is he's got a lot of real world experience fishing, right? He'll tell you the real stressors, He did a speech one time about somebody asked him, did he lose any big ones? And his daughter was graduating high school, like during the event. And he was like, yeah, my daughter's graduating today. And I was like, that's the real thing, you know.
That's good shit.
A long time ago, so I sent it to Carolina Thump, a big, like, 9-pounder I caught on Sharon Harris. We were talking about Sharon Harris a while ago. And if you look, for a long time, G-Man had this thing about positive mental attitude. And he talked about wearing a rubber band on his wrist and popping it when he got mad. And in that bass picture that I sent Thump, I was looking at it the other day when I sent it to him. I had that rubber band on my wrist. And I did that for a long time, that positive mental attitude. Because you'll spin out there on the water. You know?
Oh, hell yeah.
I think, now that I think about it, that Bass U that I went to was that one. He was supposed to talk about jig colors, and he talked about positive mental attitude instead. They covered nothing about it, and I watched them do it live, and it was fucking amazing. I was a new fisherman and bass fisherman at that point. But that guy's the best. And to kind of rewind, you were talking about the behind-the-scenes shit that got you into it, right? Another guy who switched from MLF back to bass was Palinuk, right? When he switched back, his YouTube series is literally why I kind of started making YouTube. Like, watching him give the behind-the-scenes in a very, like, cinematic, everything way, the trials. When he was doing that Road to the AOI series, I was like, fuck, dude, I want to do YouTube like this, right? And I've never reached what he has, but the same sentiment. And then watching him come back to bass, and he's fucking killing it this year on bass, which I love to see. We lost him for a minute. That's all right. In the meantime, hey, Carolina, real quick, I want to say props to you. You covered as a co-host an unannounced pee break. Amazing.
I do what I can, man. Like, I'm the poor man's Paul, and I'm here to do what I can.
I like how you southern up your accent when you try to act like Paul.
Well, I do. Hey, man, I'm from the Carolinas too. The accent never stuck. I got my brother sounds just like Paul, and it just
Fuck, I can't hear.
I don't know, man.
You can't hear us?
It says anyone can hear or see you.
I can.
Yeah, we
see
can
you.
hear you and see you.
Can you hear us?
Nope. Drop back out. Drop back out, and we'll bring them back in. So here's the problem, folks. When we deal with these people from the
All right,
South,
what about now?
Yeah, there it is. We can hear you.
Yeah. There you
Can
go.
you hear us? Nope, he can't hear. Nope. Listen, you deal with these people from the South. They have garbage internet because they're not real states.
It's hey, we're at the mercy of AT&T or Spectrum, and nobody wants to be put in that position.
Is that still a thing, Spectrum? Dude, we can hear you perfect.
Nothing.
Can you hear us?
Yeah. Damn it, man.
We're not cutting this show.
This moment.
Yeah, I mean, this show's going out how it is at this point.
Oh yeah.
We're not re-recording. We're a half an hour into it. Hopefully, I mean, we're gonna get them back in. We're gonna keep fighting. And guess what? All you awesome Bass and Brews listeners, hopefully, listen the whole way through.
Yeah, money.
We're gonna give them a
baby.
minute.
Hey, we got
Let's
a lot
let
of ground
them
to cover here.
There we go. I
We
got
do.
you now.
Hey, he's back.
But no, I heard you say Paul in there.
Yeah.
I left it over there by the swimming pool. I was gonna say I got a glide bait that's the size of Brandon Paul and that tied on. But I left it. I was throwing it in a swimming pool. I just got a new 6 cents draw for Father's Day.
There it
And
is.
I left
the
the
one you
damn
showed
thing
me
by the
today?
swimming pool. What's that?
Was that the one you sent me a picture of a while ago?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that thing's nice, man.
Yeah, dude, it's hard to get one right now.
Yeah.
I don't know where the old lady got it from, but I'm glad I got one. I tried to buy another one today at Watts Bar at the tackle shop, and they didn't have one.
Have you tried online? Because I know they just restocked. And I'm going to throw this out there right now. If you guys want to get any of those, talk to Mike Goes Fishing. Big friend of the show, big friend of Swamp Rat Fishing. He's got a discount code. Go reach out to him. And I know he's got his hands on some draws.
Yeah. Well, you see my shop. I like to keep about 8 of everything, so I
saw that.
I need a few of them, man. I love a glide bait. I love it. I'm gonna go throw one tomorrow.
Do you fish them a lot? Is that a normal thing when you hit that summer pattern?
I was talking to Thump about this today. I'll fish it, but I don't necessarily go out to catch fish on it. I use it to find fish, kind of like live scope. I'll throw it around docks and see what chases it and then follow up with something else. But you'll be surprised just slinging a glide bait, how many fish you'll have, especially with live scope, that you'll see following that thing that you can follow up with something else and catch them.
So what's your follow-up bait for that? Like you've got a fish, maybe not on live scope, right? I know you're in a glitter boat. Most of the Bass and Brews fans are in little plastic tubs.
I got one of them too, but I use it for duck hunting.
It's honest
but no, for follow-up, it depends.
Yeah.
If I'm fishing, it depends on the depth and where the fish is at. A lot of times,
hypothetically here, floating dock, 15 foot of water.
I mean, so I see them chase it. That means they come up kind of shallow. I'll probably throw like a trick worm, a Zoom trick worm behind it.
Okay.
Give it a couple twitches and see if you get a blow up. But every now and then, throwing the glide bait, you get a double digit or whatever your lake produces. You know, in Jersey, you're probably not gonna pull up a 10, but you might get a 4. That's something else I learned in the military traveling. Like, coming from Louisiana, East Texas, you see a lot of 10s and 11s, even 13s sometimes. And then you go to Ohio, you catch a 4 and you come back to weigh in and people were like, "You're the man." And I'm like, "Bro, it's a 4-pounder."
Dude, this is a while ago now. This is over a year now, right? I caught my PB in Jersey, my PB anywhere, right? It was 1 ounce shy of 7 pounds. And I think the Jersey record is only a little bit over 8. So, I mean, this is a monster fish for New Jersey. Super proud of it. I post, I do a whole fucking video. And I catch some
people
like
troll
5-pounders in the video. Dude, people are like, that's not even a fucking big one. And I'm like, well, fuck
Oh,
you,
dude, I hate
New
that.
Jersey.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
Like,
so
I
That's with that.
I used to
I'll
be
say
that guy, man.
anybody who trolls like that, I'm gonna go out right now. I'm gonna make a fucking bold statement on Bass and Brews, right? Anybody who trolls somebody who's in like Ohio, right, and they catch a 5 and they're stoked about it, and somebody's like, "Oh, that's just a baby where I'm from." Obviously, you don't know a lot about bass fishing. You don't understand that like there's different
Yeah.
bass to different lakes.
Yeah,
And so
growing
you
season.
doing that, right? Exactly. So you doing that, one, shows that you don't know enough about the whole black bass family as a whole, and then 2, it also shows that you're just a fucking douchebag.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to be that guy, man. I had no idea. You know, I used to be that guy. Some guy was posting a 3.5, and I'm like, come on, bro, what out? But what I still do is I hate when somebody's in a fucking farm pond and they post an 8 and they're like at a golf course or something. And I'm like, dude, it's still a great fish. Don't get me wrong. But go do that on a pressured lake like Chickamauga.
It's just easy, right? Like, so,
Yeah.
so Jersey, right? So my mind frame, I actually haven't, I've only bass fished in Pennsylvania and Jersey. That's it. I didn't grow up bass fishing in Washington State. It just, like, we fish for trout and salmon and fucking halibut, right? We didn't fish for bass. But growing up through, when people are like, when they go, like, to these little, like, New Jersey doesn't have a shit ton of water to fish. The only water that you are fishing where I'm at in Jersey in the southern portion, it's super pressured. There are fucking, whether it's recreational boats or actual fishermen, there is tons of traffic all the time. And listen, if you can squeak out a limit, like most our kayak tournaments, if you can squeak out a limit, you're going to win. Easy. Because it is fucking hard to fish there.
That's Ohio BFLs for you.
Right. Well, maybe I should fucking hit the pro circuit. I'm just joking because I suck at anything that's not
anybody
title.
can do it, man. I think another thing is I think the stars have to align for you, right? Like there's definitely a grind in it, but some guys I know, Gleason, he's one from where I'm from. He's on the elites now. And he don't get me wrong, the dude is a hammer. The guy's got more double-digit bass than anybody I know. But he kind of had things aligned for him. The Southern Opens came, and they were on home waters, Toledo Bend, and he hammered them. The guy's a Toledo Bend guide, and that's how he punched his elite ticket and his classic ticket, and I love the guy. But there's a thing, too. The stars kind of got off the line for you, right? Like,
yeah. There's a lot of shit that has to go right. It's almost like bass growing into double-digit bass. I mean, that shit, it's just astronomical.
And I will say this, before I spent a lot of money my first year in the BFLs, I wish I would have looked late in the schedule. I looked like one event at a time, and I had that goal of making regionals, but I didn't care where regionals was at. And I should have been like, okay, I'm going to make regionals, but let me figure out a tidal fishery, right?
Right.
Or I should have been like, let me do this when regionals is on Sam Rayburn or something like that, you know?
It's kind of all like when you do the professional thing, it's definitely all I mean, the guys that are on there are great fishermen, right? I'm not gonna shit on any of them, right? They're all great fishermen.
They all punch their ticket.
Yeah, but I mean, some of them obviously you have to have the money to do it, right? It's super expensive to run even the BFLs or whatever they're called now, right? It takes money to do that.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know what I spent in BFLs. And I slept, I got the cab on my truck and I got a bed back there. The first year I traveled with just a travel partner. It was a co-angler, my boy Shadbird. Shout out to him. And I slept in the truck a lot. But I would go there. And fortunately, I work at USAC Cadet Command and I could take leave. That was something I didn't know about the military. Is like you can just take leave. Everywhere I was before this, it was like, hey, you're going to go on leave at this time. And then when I learned you can just take leave when I come to this place, I was like, okay, I'm a fish now. And I would take leave and practice for 3 to 5 days and then fish a one. And it sounds crazy for a BFL because it's supposed to be a weekend series. Like it's supposed to be the working man series, but it's not that. Like them guys are coming after you. You need to get out there and practice, especially if it's not your home water. And
so with how expensive these BFLs are, right? And I don't know if you still do them, but what to kind of to pivot this to normally what we do on this show, why haven't you gone to the kayak side then, right? Lower entry fees, same competition, you know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry, Carolina, that beats your question.
Yep.
No, you're good.
No, so that question is, I grew up on a lake. I might as well grew up on a fucking houseboat. But I didn't learn to swim until I was 20, 21. I was in ranger school when I learned how to swim. First time I ever swam in my life. So the last thing I need to be is in a little fucking plastic boat that can flip over. But no, I used to hate on kayak guys all the time. But let me tell you, y'all got something going on here. The last classic, I know you guys were probably like, what the fuck? I seen a kayak that sold for $24,000 at the classic. And they're kind of ruining your thing, just like they're doing with bass boats now. I was talking to Thumper today. I'm in the market for a new bass boat, and the lady finally called me today, and she's like, oh, we can get you one in October. And I'm like, what the hell? Kayaks are going that way, so prepare yourselves, man.
It's ridiculous.
I never thought I was going to see the day people put 12-inch screens on a kayak.
Yeah, but if you look at who is placing on like KBF and the Hobie BOS,
They're
a lot of these guys, no, they're definitely not fucking in those, but they're in like the new canoe, right? Like, so I'm an Old Town guy, and usually we're like right close to it, right? They're a cheaper version of a Hobie, basically, but with a far superior drive, because Hobie drives are garbage. But a lot of dudes are doing the new canoe, right? Because they're cheaper to get into because they're paddle only, but they're ready to be outfitted for an outboard or like a trolling motor.
That's the way to go.
See, if you're in a trolling motor, you're cheating. Get out of here with that. It's
Get
a kayak.
The fuck out. You don't even kayak fish. You don't even kayak fish. Get the
I have
fuck
a
out
kayak.
of here.
Me and Thumper talked about this. I have a kayak.
Yeah.
I have never got in it. I drug decoys through the marsh with it, some duck decoys. I painted it camo, but I've never got in it.
Hey,
I pulled it behind
the. Let's go just duck hunting next year. What's up?
Oh, I'm down. Hey, we'll go out to Outer Banks. That's the closest place you got that's good over there. Oh, but no, I usually the most work my kayak gets is when I take the kids, I'll tie it up behind the Triton while I'm got the old Trex rolling, and they feel like they're grown or something. They're back there fishing on a kayak tied to the back of the boat. So
I think I don't know, man. You might want to take another look. Again, I know it's a totally different style, right? There's no run and gun. There's no run and gun in a kayak, right? There's a lot of homework. There's a lot of homework that you have to do ahead of time. But
I think co-anglers would make good kayak fishermen. Co-anglers would be good with that because they're kind of stuck and stuff, and that's a hard grind. Co-anglers would make good kayak fishermen, I think.
You know what? No, I'm gonna argue that one. So here's the reason I'm gonna argue that one. So a co-angler, you're kind of at the whim of your boater, right? But as a kayak angler, I think you have to be more in tune to map reading and prior research because we can't run and gun, right? Once we get on that body of water, we can't run and gun. So you have to use historical, which means like YouTube, Instagram, all that shit to figure out what's going on, and then reading a map. You've got to figure that out because a lot of guys like Paul barely, and he's not a good kayak angler. Thank God he's not on the show, but he doesn't pre-fish a lot, right? But he does really well when he goes out because he does the off the water study. As a kayak angler, you got to do more of that. Like as a
ski maps, the whole fucking shebang, man.
And I feel as a co-angler, you have an excuse of why you're shitty is you can blame it on your angler, right?
See, you're just pulling the excuse. Every co-angler that doesn't catch a check, they blame their boater. Everyone that doesn't catch a check blames their boater. For sure. No, but I kind of agree with you, but they're limited to tackle. I'm not going to lie. The amount of rods and tackle I load up in this boat, it will be hard for me to go from – because what do you guys put, 4 rods and y'all have them sticking straight up? I would be hanging them rods all day long.
Hey, I bring 8.
I
have 8 rods.
Yeah. I would be fine with 8 rods, but y'all got them sticking
I'm going to say,
Carolina,
you're in a smaller boat too, right? Oh,
I am in a 10-foot kayak, and I got it loaded down. And it's still within weight capacity.
And I would say, Tony, you said about the stand-up. I'm in a Old Town, right? So I'm an Old Town top water 120. It's now called a Sportsman 120, but it's a pedal drive. No, they're amazing, but I fish standing up a lot. You can stand up the whole time. Dude,
you're in the Coast Guard. You can swim.
I stand up all day long. I'll skip. Dude, I do it all. I get up there.
Yeah,
that's why you got a PFD, Tony. You'll be all right.
Yeah.
Put a PFD on.
Yeah, I don't. That thing stays hooked to the kill switch back here. I'm not standing up with that thing on.
Dude, aren't you airborne? Hold on, aren't you airborne?
Oh yeah, I've done some water jumps too, but I'm inflating my shit before I get down to the water. Dude, I can swim. I tell people all the time, I can swim, but it's, I don't know, 30 yards. I'm definitely not saving nobody. Like, if you want me to come out there and get somebody, no, I'm good.
Dude, you'll be all right in a kayak. I really do. I don't know. I'm trying to. I'm on this new kick, right? I figured this out last week. I'm on the new kick of trying to convince all these boat guys who talk about how BFLs and the local tournaments are too expensive, and they really are, with gas prices and everything else. Super expensive, right?
It's fucking crazy.
Entry for a boat is $350.
That's like, well, I mean, $350 is about the same for a kayak, actually. Like the Hoey BOS, actually, I think it might be more.
But when you talk about hauling a boat there, gas in a boat, it's almost $200 for me to fill a boat up. It depends on where you're fishing. Now, don't get me wrong. There's some places where I'm like, I'm going to go hammer out a limit next to the ramp, depending on how practice was. But if you're going to Erie, like I fished a BFL on Erie, and this was before gas went up. This was last year before gas went up, and I was burning $100 a day in gas on Erie. So
listen, as a kayak fisherman, usually gas costs me about $30. It's $20 in packs of cigarettes and $10 in Red Bulls.
There you go. Yeah, I'm a monster guy, but no, I'm not opposed to it. I love what the kayak game's done. It's definitely brought a lot of people into the fishing world. The more, the better. I do a lot of hate on Guggen, but the one thing Guggen did that's great is they have brought a lot of new generation to the sport. Now, does Guggen, apparently they have their own worm fucking farms. If you go to Walmart, they got like Guggen red worms in a can. They got their own factory. They got their own scale. They got their own rods. They got their own line. They're good at everything, apparently. If you ask a Guggen guy, they make fucking everything.
All right. Damn. So people of the show, obviously I have my stance on Guggen, right? And I think both the guys that I have on the show tonight have both been in Guggen drama on TikTok, right?
A little
bit. But I will say, what do you guys, and I'm going to say this out here, right? But it's a company I actually love. But what do you think about 6 Cents?
Love them. I'm an East Texas, Louisiana guy. 6 Cents.
Great. So 6 Cents has scissors. They have eyeglass retainers. They have the same thing, right?
Hey, man, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Hey. As long as
I didn't know they had eyeglass retainers. I don't even know what the fuck that is. Oh, you talking about the bands? On the
bands,
okay.
Yeah. Like literally, you could go. No. So I will say. So I love 6 Cents. God, 6 Cents. Casey, come at me. I will pay you to sponsor my show. I love 6 Cents. I've been with them forever on a lot of things. Right, like that clout worm is my #1 bait I've ever used, and it's a stick worm that is actually completely different from anything on the market. It's money.
They got their own mold.
But I just want people to be clear, though, like 6 Cents, definitely. And we're talking about 6 Cents, not shitty Motel 6, a whole different 6.
With the beer in the sink.
Right. But realize, like, the marketing is different, right? And now I applaud 6 Cents because they marketed towards a more accomplished and older angler.
Yeah.
While Guggen went for the kid who doesn't know anything about fishing.
Yeah. So where 6 Cents got me is the owner, right? This guy started in a damn college dorm, buying up tungsten from China, capitalized on it, and started from the ground level. Now, I don't know how Guggen started. The problem with Guggen is you're paying for the clamshell their baits are in, and people will say Strike King's doing the same thing. But why not buy the original? Why buy the knockoff for the same price as the original, right? Like,
Right, that Bandito bug.
Yeah, that
Basically the
Bandito
same,
bug is a knockoff of the Rage bug.
It's
But
leashed.
I mean, this is
It's
since the beginning of
leashed,
time, right? This is since the beginning of fishing. Everybody's been knocking stuff off. I've never owned a single Guggen product. I haven't even tried them. I just know the hate they get. What's that?
I fished a couple. They're Bandito bug and the Mondo worm. As far as the soft plastics, I haven't really fished any of the hard baits. But yeah,
I don't know.
Bug is definitely a rage bug.
I wouldn't be against trying them, but I will say I love the fact that Guggen's brought a whole new personality and everything into the sport. There's a whole new group of guys here because of Guggen, right?
Yeah,
they have great YouTubers. They're out there and they're rolling deep, boy. I thought we was rolling with the Crips or something. They was like Guggen Squad. Like you see them dudes at a boat ramp.
TikTok, holy shit!
Hey, bro, you see them dudes at a boat ramp? They rolling deep, dude. They're like West Side. They're throwing up Guggen gang signs and shit. But I love it, man. I love that they brought all these people here, and they're not the only ones that do that. Like Strike King's making fluorocarbon now. Am I gonna buy it? I love Strike King. I'm not gonna buy their fucking fluorocarbon. I'll buy their crankbaits all day. I'll buy that sexy dog and all that all day. But don't tell me you just jumped in the fluorocarbon game and you got it now. No, I'm good.
I will say I took again. Listen, Carolina. This is 2 unannounced potty breaks that you have killed it as a guest host. So fucking props to you.
It's that intuition, man.
Dude, you're on JRE level right now. This is JRE level shit right now.
So with Guggen, so I have tried, you guys both mentioned nothing but soft baits, never hard baits, right? So I have tried their hard baits. Their crankbaits, I think, are, I don't like their paint jobs. They chip off way too quick, and I'm not even a big crankbait guy. They chip off too quick. I will say I pride myself on being a swim jig fisherman. That Grass Hero they have is a very good northern style, a very good northern style swim jig.
But let's rewind this. You're not a big crankbait fisherman.
I'm not.
You what?
No,
well, so you're fishing up north, your crankbait time's limited up there.
So even in Jersey, so we don't have a lot of natural lakes. What I normally fish, so it's either tidal water, or the lakes that I fish are actually old sand quarries, and they're I don't have hard structure. What I have is grass and muck and dead bodies to move around. That's my main thing.
Close to my lake.
Sopranos was burying people out there all the time, dude.
Yeah. That's exactly where I live. In the Pine Barrens.
In the Pine Barrens. My favorite episode, by the way, Pine Barrens. Nobody knows more about Sopranos than me, by the way.
Listen, Jersey Devil for life.
Shit out of lipless crankbaits, man.
Yeah, I'm with you though. I'm with you, Swamp. The Jersey thing with the crankbaits. That's like growing up. The M Fisherman things. I'm a Southern guy, so the Yankees. Y'all remember the show M Fisherman?
I do.
That guy did nothing but throw a fucking jerkbait, man. He was always like the walleye and jerkbait. So when I went up to Erie, that's the only thing I knew. I was like, oh, let me tie a bunch of jerkbaits on. Let me get some spinning rods out.
Fucking love jerkbaits, though. Fucking love.
I hated
jerkbaits anymore.
Dude, I fished with this year. I did wear them out on the jerkbait pre-spawn. I had some good 40 fish days.
Jerkbaits, man. I love them. And this is my first year really fishing them.
Go back to Thump. Thump, you just put a video out, or at least I just saw it recently, right? Where you talked about somebody saying they don't like jerkbaits, right? And you mentioned, is it because of the trebles?
Oh, yeah. So I spoke to that guy, Cody. He said more so he's nervous about bank fishing with a jerkbait. And I don't blame him. I don't bank fish.
I get that.
With a lot of.
Yep, I don't bank fish with them at all.
Unless it's a slow rising Rapala. There's a slow rising Rapala. So you
come on, man. Fix your speech here. Rapala, dude.
Rapala, bro. It's Rapala. It's Rapala, bro. Yeah. Go to their website.
You got a Yankee. Dudes. Thump, you're outnumbered here, Thump. You got a Yankee saying Rapala, dude. So when I was growing up, coming up in the South, if somebody said Rapala, or if they said Rapala or Bobber, you knew they were a Yankee. What do y'all call it? A bobber or a cork?
A bobber.
That's my point. I won.
But it's
called a
Rapala.
cork.
The only reason I know it's Rapala is because I've watched their fucking videos where these Swedish dudes call it Rapala.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Hey, it's called a cork, okay? Because when they started this, they took a cork out of a
cork
moonshine jug, and that's what it is, a cork. But
you know what's funny is actually I'll take that back. I have called it a cork, and I've done it in YouTube videos. I only call it a cork if I'm crappie fishing.
yeah, see, I don't use one for white. Well, see, this is another thing. I didn't learn this till the Army. I learned in Louisiana, we call every fish something different until I joined the Army. We call it a
What do you guys call
or white
there?
perch.
It is a soccolate.
We
right?
call it a
Yeah.
soccolate or white
Yeah.
perch.
I like
And
that.
then,
I like that.
what do y'all call hybrids? What do y'all call them?
Hybrid?
Y'all got a name for hybrid?
Bluegill. Bluegill.
Or no, bluegill. We call that brim. But I'm talking about the hybrids
Yeah.
with the stripes on them. What do y'all call that?
Oh,
I've
that's
only ever heard it called hybrid.
Well, we don't have those here, so.
Most people call them white bass, but we always called them sand bass. And I was listening to the show the other day here, and y'all was on here rapping, and Paul said jackfish. That's what we call it, but y'all call it pickerel.
Well,
We
that's
call it
because it's the
jackfish.
name. That's because it's the fucking name. Chain
Yeah.
pickerel.
I never knew that though. Like I went until I was in my almost 30 fucking years old, and I was like, "What are y'all talking about?" I was like, "It's a fucking jackfish." I was like, "I don't know what y'all are talking about."
I love
growing up in North Carolina. We had crappie, we had any kind of sunfish was a brim, and then you had largemouth, and I didn't have smallmouth near me. And then there were catfish, the 3 types of catfish.
Yeah, you
They're
got
all
flatheads,
catfish.
blues, and channels.
Yeah.
Yeah, that the whole fish naming thing though. Until I like traveled the world and left Louisiana, I was in shock. I was like, "What? What did you call
You
that?"
know what's nuts is the last episode. Everybody should go back. I know it's a little different from what we normally do, but when we had Nick from Cast and Crank, right? We actually talked about saltwater fishing a lot, but he's in SoCal and they fish calicos. You ever heard that? Like,
dude,
No.
Paul
so
about
I've
calico
heard.
cat. God damn it.
Dude, so old dudes in New Jersey will call crappie calico bass. Like that's a common term,
What?
right? But they're dealing, they'll call them,
Nobody's
they'll call
ever
them calico
said
bass
that.
instead of crappie.
Nobody's ever
But-
said that in the history of time.
But
I always
Nick,
say
these
crappie because
calico
Bill Dance said crappie, and my old lady's from
Oh,
Tennessee, and I'm like, she's like, no, they're called crappie, and I'm like, you have to own crappie because Bill Dance, the man, called it crappie, so you have
He's
to
the
own
man.
that shit. Yeah,
I mean,
you
I
have to
call
own
him
that shit.
crappie. I call him crappie, and I definitely had a story where my youngest caught one. And she's like, "What is this fish?" I'm like, "Well, it's a crappie." And she goes, "Can I say a bad word?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Well, this is a crappy fish." And I'm like,
Yeah,
"That's
don't know,
another
she's
term
wrong
for
there.
it, girl."
All right, so let's say this: the best eaten freshwater fish. What do you guys got?
Crappie.
All day, same.
Mm,
You're gonna say
I'm a-
walleye, right?
nope, I'm gonna say brook trout.
I don't even know what the fuck
Don't
that
have
is.
those around here.
Exactly.
Yeah, we don't have that. I
My
don't know
grandma
what that
got
is.
me into fishing, and that's what she loved crappie. She
I-
loved them to death.
I will say so. Like, I'm originally from a suburb of Seattle, Washington, right? So I grew up fly fishing for trout and cutthroats and all that shit, right? So I do think a brook trout from an actual like real stream in Washington is delicious. But
I bet it is. I mean,
if I had to pick something else, it's going to be crappie. I don't fuck with
accessibility
walleye.
wise, I think.
See, that surprises me because most Yankees
crap.
say walleye. Like I get in arguments with Yankees all the time, and they're like, "Dude, you got to try walleye. It's way better." And I'm like, "I'll try it one
I
day."
think you're confused. So when you say Yankee and you're talking about walleye, that's like northern New York, Wisconsin,
Maybe. Wisconsin's a big
shit.
one for sure.
right?
I know.
Michigan.
Wisconsin, Ohio, Michigan, them guys are
Right.
all about that.
So I've spent, obviously, I grew up in Washington State. We don't have walleye at all. They're an invasive species. They're on the, like, lop their head off snakehead level. We don't fuck with that there.
Yeah, nobody
And
does
then-
it with snakeheads either, though. So
Thankfully they don't. They're starting to get away from that, thankfully. But maybe that's a whole conversation after this. But in New Jersey, like walleye's not a thing either. So I'll fuck with crappie or sea bass because we can get them in. We can actually get black sea bass in the Tidal River in the brackish water.
oh,
Like
nice.
where I fish, if you hit it the right time, you're gonna get largemouth, you're gonna get jackfish, you're gonna get crappie, bluegill, but you're also gonna get striper that are running through, bluefish, and sea bass, all pushed into the same spot.
South Louisiana is like that. So you'll catch reds, speckled trout, bass.
Reds
might go
are
out, hit a rig,
something,
catch a grouper.
dude. Reds are on my bucket list.
Yeah. This is the cool thing about reds. If you can bass fish, you can fucking go catch reds.
You
can go catch reds.
Catch reds. That's what I.
Dude,
that's why I want to go out and catch them.
My whole plan is when I get out. Obviously, I get out in November, right? So it's not a really good season. But that first spring, hopefully, this new job I don't start too early. And my plan is to actually like bum around to all the awesome listeners and followers and fish their waters. And reds is like key. I want to go catch Carolina reds because it just looks so it looks so fucking fun. And you're right, it's just bass fishing basically.
You're out 4 months, so we can go during the fall.
Yeah,
we can try them in the fall.
In November. Yeah.
Then you swing by Fort Knox and we'll go hit well, I would say Kentucky Lake. That was the best we had close until Asian carp, but I still got some other places.
Shit, what was the thing I wanted to talk about though? What did we just reference? That I said we'll talk about that. I can't remember.
The Goonies.
No.
I
was taking
total.
a pee.
Total side note, Goonies, I was stationed where that movie was filmed, and that was like the best thing ever.
I'd nerd out to that. That's one of my favorite movies.
It's probably like the Christmas Story house. Like you go see it real quick and it's over. Like,
oh no, that's it. There's when I was there, it's in Astoria, Oregon, and it's not like a protected site. So there's a bunch of meth heads who lived in it when I was stationed there. Yeah. God, what was? Oh,
I don't know. We're probably going to talk about jackhammers. Why everybody's like in a rage about how much jackhammers cost.
Here it is. Get it. So if you guys don't know, I posted a video on TikTok on the Bass and Brews. You guys should go follow it. Don't follow that Swamp Rat Run. I don't do shit on that anymore. Now I'm just fully on this Bass and Brews. But I posted a whole video about how jackhammers are overpriced. The most overpriced thing in bass fishing.
But you didn't say overrated. You just
listen, Brewskis. Listen, Brewskis. He has no idea what he's paying for, right? Like, I'll break this down.
I don't. I have no idea what I'm paying for. You're absolutely right. I don't understand.
If you want to know what you're paying for, I have an epic video on my TikTok. I think it's the last one I posted.
It's thorough.
Go on there. I'll break down what you're paying for. But I'm not saying anything's wrong with the chatterbait, right? Like it's worth $6.99 or whatever you pay for a chatterbait. Yeah. I will say this. I remember when the chatterbait dropped and I was buying them up around Toledo Bend. Like I didn't want anybody to have them. I thought it was the greatest invention of all time when the chatterbait came out. So I will not knock the original chatterbait, right? There's a few baits that's come out in my lifetime that one's a whopper popper, the other one's a chatterbait, right? Like I can't think of any baits that came out that are more revolutionary. Yeah, them are revolutionary baits, right? Everything else has been a knockoff of something that happened in the 60s or 50s. Yeah. But the jackhammer, you're paying for the hook, right? You get a Gamakatsu hook that is forged by samurais, okay? It's in the name, Gamakatsu. Samurais are folding metal to form this hook. Laser sharp that it has a safety on it inside the pack, okay? You get a double wire keeper with your trailer. And this is my argument here. This is the biggest selling point of a jackhammer, right? You take an original chatterbait, whatever trailer you use. If you're using a Guggen trailer, you're going to go through 12 packs. But say you're using a good trailer, like a Strike King Rage Menace. you're still going to go through 1 pack of trailers on an original chatterbait if you don't super glue it. With a jackhammer and its double trailer keeper, you are going to use the same trailer for like 10 bass. It's not going to wear out on you. Therefore, your cost transfers over on the money that you saved on trailers. And then what a lot of people don't point out is the head of a jackhammer. If you look at it, the whole, not just the blade moves, where the blade's connected to the head shifts up and down and deflects off cover at least 10 times better. So you're not hanging them up as much.
Yep.
So you're saving money in the long run. You're paying for a quality product.
But are you saying that is $17 to $20? That's what that's worth.
I will pay $17.99 for them. That's where I'm at with it. Hey, we was talking G-Man. G-Man in the Classic, when he came from MLF and fished the Classic and it was on Gunnersville, he went around and he said, I've been throwing a chatterbait like Brett Height all day. I pay $16.99 like everybody else for them. I got $1,200 invested in them. If this guy's slinging them and he's invested that much of his income on them, it's probably worth everybody doing it.
Maybe, but like if you look at something like the baby bull shad, right, from my Buka, that thing is actually cheaper than a fucking jackhammer. How the fuck is that possible?
But I've also caught 16 fish on the same jackhammer in one morning, and I haven't done that with the bull shad. I'm not saying it's not.
It
possible.
Definitely has a different vibration as well.
No, I'm not saying they're similar baits. I'm talking about craftsman. No, I'm talking about craftsmanship put into it, right? The big thing that everybody talks about, the jackhammer, right? It's that patent pending where there's no connection point to the blade, right? It's right to the head.
I'll get you there. I wouldn't put that. Well, you already put it out there, so he might get a cease and desist. So I got a buddy, Bite Me Baits of Kentucky. Shout out to my boy Chad. He got a cease and desist from Z-Man.
Doing something.
They're the only fishing company that owns a patent on a damn lure, apparently.
Cool.
And
it's that connection point.
Yes. If somebody comes across my TikTok like Carolina Thump with this damn fake ass chatterbait with a split ring connecting it, I'm gonna fucking skip your video faster than shit, bro. That is not a fucking chatterbait. But I'll tell you what my boy Chad will do for you at Bite Me Baits of Kentucky. He will send you the best jig you ever seen in your life, and he'll send you the blade that you can put on it.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that where small bait companies are getting around that by doing that.
Hey, you got to work smarter, man. You got to work smarter.
But let me tell you, Z-Man, they got lawyers like fucking Disney, bro.
Yeah, they
Them dudes will send you a cease and desist letter. You could be selling jigs to 3 fucking people on TikTok. They will send you a cease and desist letter quicker than shit. Quicker than shit.
Apparently.
Listen, I still stand by it. I still stand by what I say. I think I get it. Like, if you're fishing Bassmaster, all right, maybe you spend that much. But the average angler, I fucking think that you can still pick up just as many fish.
I think, you can pick up just as many, but you're going to go through, you can pick up just as many bass, but you're going to go through, if you're putting trailers on it, you're going to go through that number of trailers to equal the cost of a jackhammer.
But there's companies that are putting the double wire keeper on the back end of that trailer.
I'm all for that, but are they putting a hook that's forged by fucking samurais?
And then blessed by anybody can Zeus himself.
Anybody can buy that fucking Gamakatsu hook and put it on a fucking chatterbait.
Yeah,
they sell that
Here's
shit.
The thing, here's my one thing. You don't have to buy every chatterbait you own has to be jackhammer. I own every type of chatterbait there is. And I just got a couple extra. I got the jackhammers and the jackhammer stealths, but I got the big blade. I got the original. I got the freedom. And I
got like 10 big blades. I haven't thrown the big blades yet. Somebody commented on my thing.
Milk and titties, sir. You got to try.
I got like, I don't know. I got 10 or 12 of the Brian Thrift big blades a couple months ago. I hung them on the shelf. I haven't thrown them yet. I got a couple in the box. I haven't tied them on.
I mainly use the white and the black and blue with a big old like space monkey kind of. I flip
giant trailer.
A vertical jig.
Oh.
I'll bring up a great comment somebody that I thought about it. A guy said, is a bass swimming up to a chatterbait and a jackhammer? Is he going to look at the chatterbait and say, oh, he didn't spend $16.99? Probably not.
Nope.
But it's definitely a different vibration. The hook's going to last longer. You're paying for a quality over. I mean, it's like, are you going to go buy shit coffee at the BX or PX or Circle K, or are you going to go buy some fucking real Black Rifle coffee? You know what I mean? Or are you going to drink that fucking Maxwell House?
Black Rifle.
Yeah.
Another proud sponsor of Bass and Brews, Black Rifle.
Black Rifle. Hey, where
no,
they
it's
at?
not.
Hey.
No, it's not. I hate Black Rifle.
Man, what? I love Black Rifle coffee.
Listen, I'm gonna give a unpopular opinion. I think Black Rifle. I don't know if I should do this on here because I could.
Yeah, they're capitalizing on veterans.
There it is. They are capitalizing on military service, and I find that scummy as fuck. And then go fuck.
But this is the thing: it's veteran owned, veteran operated. And they hire like 90% veterans. They've even hired guys they brought back from overseas. I mean, they're doing okay work.
They're doing okay work,
but it's definitely a cringy, it's definitely a cringy exploit there.
Right. The same guys that wear 501 tactical gear in their civilian life are also drinking Black Rifle.
The guys that used to wear Affliction shirts when Dane Cook wore them, they're wearing Black Rifle shirts now.
Yeah. Nah, I don't fuck with that shit. And the coffee, we talked about him earlier. Mike goes fishing. He's a coffee snob, and he drinks it. I think it's listen, I'll be the hipster, I guess that I am. I just drink fucking Starbucks. Like I'm whatever.
Don't get me wrong, bro. I'll go into some Starbucks. They're on every base in America, dude. I'll go get me a what's that thing I get? A white chocolate mocha, hot 4 shots, dude. I'll get down, bro.
Dude, that seems suspect.
If they don't have their blonde roast, I don't fuck with it because it tastes like.
But I will tell you this: so I went to Starbucks the other day. The only thing I've ever ordered from there is the first thing I ever got was a white chocolate mocha, and
that's some Air Force shit, Tony. That's some Air Force shit.
Oh, it is, dude. It is.
Hey, you got to dash of raspberry.
But I get 4 shots, bro. That makes it manly as shit.
No, it doesn't.
4 shots, that puts hair on the sack, bro.
Listen, you order a white chocolate, you're in the Space Force. Get out of here.
Hey, I went in there the other day. The lady was like, "Oh, we don't have the stuff to make it," and I was like, "Fuck, what else y'all got?" I was like, "I don't even know what else y'all got, bro."
Listen, you got to hit that nitro cold brew.
I can't do cold.
It's like Guinness.
Coffee. That's
that shit's good, man. That's
I need
that nitro.
Like holy shit!
I need regular black coffee. I need regular black coffee, or I need that bougie shit that Starbucks got.
I do look like a bougie motherfucker underway. So underway, I bring about I buy about 10 pounds of Starbucks, and I have like a French press, and I'm the guy doing the French press. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, dude. Listen, man.
Hey, I got the Black Rifle. I got the Black Rifle grinder, and I just buy the whole beans. But I just do black when it comes to coffee at home or whatever. But I'll go bougie if I hit Starbucks.
I do cream, and again, fuck you, Tony, for calling me out because I had too much cream in my coffee on a fucking TikTok
I've seen that. Dude, that wasn't coffee, bro. That was cream with a splash of coffee.
Listen, man, underway.
That looked like Almond Joy creamer. Dude, what was that, Almond Joy creamer?
Listen, bro, it was almond creamer. It was almond. Like, I gotta protect the insides. Like I said, I'm hipster, even though I try to fucking hide it. But that underway coffee, when a motherfucker like your E7 shows up, right? You know you got a bad day coming when the E7 shows up to make coffee before anybody else. Motherfucker shows up, and I watch him, and I know what the ratio is. The ratio is to make a pot of fucking coffee for us. Literally on the boat, it takes 7 scoops of whatever coffee. And then I watch this chief show up, and I watch him pile on 20 fucking scoops. That shit comes out like diarrhea after Taco Bell, right? It's just fucking gnarly. And he's like, that's how it should be.
Man.
Hey, you almost gotta string that shit through a sock before you drink it.
Little did y'all know, the Navy is the reason we call it a cup of Joe, because the strongest thing allowed on the ship was a cup of coffee, and the strongest dude on the ship name was Joe. I got that from the AFN commercial.
That is, I'm glad you got good info. We're going to go total sidetrack. Good info because we get AFN on the boat, right? The only info I've gotten from AFN is that the Navy beats their wives way too much. They also can't control their liquor, and they have strong
They
coffee.
dip too
I've
much.
seen that same commercial.
Yeah, dude. The AFN is nothing but a long safety brief. It's like, do you want to stop dipping? Don't get a DUI. Are you kicking your dog and beating your wife? It's terrible. It's depressing. You watch AFN, dude, you're like, fuck. I need to go to counseling.
So bad. Dude, it's so bad. AFN's if people don't know, AFN is the Armed Forces Network. It's the shitty TV channels we get when you're deployed.
But like regular people complain about their commercials about Viagra and some dude's changing a tire on the side of the road and now he all of a sudden gets a hard on and shit. Imagine if you had to watch our commercials.
Wait, hold on. What commercial are you talking about?
Dude,
I've never seen that.
Look up a Viagra commercial. Every Viagra commercial has a dude doing some man shit. The guy's carrying a Chevrolet 350, dropping it into a Mustang by himself. He's changing a tire by himself on the side of the road. It's always some man shit. And it's like,
you got your old neighbor blowing his leaf blower at 7:30.
Yeah. And then it's always, the symptoms are always diarrhea. Like, why is that the first symptom always listed on every medication ever? Like, you want diarrhea? No. Explosive.
All right, man. So, Tony, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So, this is the part of the show that is, listen, we're going to keep putting this out here. Fucking Paul keeps telling me not to say this, but we're about ready to go to the segment that has sunk a podcast, let alone multiple personalities, right? We're going to get into the shotgun round.
Let's go.
All right. I just want to make sure you're clear. This is unedited. I got to pull out the fucking iPad for this because I'm a rookie and I don't know how to do this properly.
Paul needs to come back.
Yeah, no, Paul has killed it. But this is a shotgun round. So here's what I want from you. We're going to ask these questions. This is like your, you know what I mean? Your military psychological test. I want I want your first honest answer first.
Let's go.
All right. You ready? Texas or Waikiki?
What's that?
I'm drunk.
Texas all day. Texas and no taxes. I don't want to pay taxes ever again. I'll throw a Texas rig and I don't want to pay taxes. Let's go.
I like it. Slow jam or hype music?
Hype music.
Love it. Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Fuck no. Fruit does not belong anywhere near meat, and if it's pizza, it's got to have meat on it.
All right, well, we're going to end the show because he said the wrong answer. Fuck off. Crocs or flops?
Crocs, because I can put them in four-wheel drive, baby. Let's get it.
My man.
There we go.
Do you eat largemouth? Yes or no?
No.
No. Have you ever eaten largemouth?
Yes. Grew up on
Have you ever eaten a largemouth? I'm going to expand on this question. Have you ever eaten largemouth over 3 pounds?
I probably have. I'd have to say, yeah.
4 pounds.
Nah. My ancestors didn't know how to catch no fucking 4-pounder. I'm great. I raised that level up.
Exception to
All
the
right.
rule.
All right. You got a 3-hour session of fishing. Would you rather catch 5 2-pounders or 1 7-pounder?
Am I in a tournament? Or is this just 5 hours of fishing?
Listen, motherfucker. This ain't a political show.
All right. Give me 1 7. Give me 1 7.
All right. There it is.
At least if you don't cut a check, you get the oohs and ahs at the boat ramp, baby. And it looks good on TikTok.
Fuck yeah, it does. Have you ever eaten beaver?
I ate Nutri-Rat. It's kind of like a beaver.
All right.
And I've ate pussy. That's a beaver.
That's the TikTok clip we're putting out. Do you know anything about hook set hoodlums or no?
Hook set hoodlums, a little bit.
All right. Do you know who the owners are?
No.
All right. So since you're uninitiated, we'll break it down. So the hook set hoodlum owners have a yearly challenge whoever out of the owners, whoever catches the biggest fish, gets to carry around a WWE style fucking wrestling belt.
Oh, that's fucking epic, dude.
Oh, it's fucking off. Not only that, but they're pro staff members, which I don't know if it's confirmed yet, but I'm gonna tell you right now. By the time this comes out, this man over here, Carolina Thump, will be a member of.
Who needs that? Well, if you're trying to get that belt, you need to go hit Sharon Harris, bro.
Well, so here's the thing for Hookset Hoodlum pro staff members, and that's promotional, not pro, as we're clear on this show. They do give out a fucking trophy. You guys can roll back a couple of months ago. I finally got mine from last year. But this year we're doing it by length. But last year I fucking won a trophy, and listen, this fucking Hookset Hoodlums is the shit. They literally, no cost to me, sent me out a fucking trophy that I had to move everything off the mantle, all my kids' pictures, all the wedding pictures, and I put this fucking trophy because the Hoodlums are full of sticks, and I beat those cats all year last year.
Okay, I have a question. If I were to win this, can I unify it with my Intercontinental title, my WWE?
Oh, fucking! I mean, absolutely right. You might have to go up against Lockwood Fishing and his ball shots to get through it, but
we'll see. Harris Lake don't treat the good.
I got you some
Tony.
points, bro.
Tony, you might not know them, but just based off the names, who do you think is going to catch the biggest bass? Is it going to be Drew, Ken, or Mild Bill?
Well, Ken, that's a Barbie character. Drew, that's a little half-ass. I will go with the Bill because of Wild Bill, so I'm going with Bill.
Well, he's not wild. He's definitely mild.
Well, I'm going with Wild just because of the name. I mean,
I like it.
Yeah,
Drew and Ken,
you gotta get those guys another nickname, man. Everybody keeps picking Bill because he's got a cool nickname.
Yeah, the Ken doll thing, that throws it off, man. I can't go with that based on names.
I mean, he's got another name. It's Underwater Robberies online, right? Like the namesake of the hat. But I love the response because that's fucking perfect. And then also another like inside baseball. Do you know who Alex Rudd Fishing is?
Yes.
All right. So is Alex Rudd over or underrated?
Oh man, I got to pick over or under.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go over if I got to pick. I got to do it just because I'm a savage and I'm trolling the trolls, baby.
I love it, bro.
But if I got to pick one, I'm going over.
I like it. Alex, you probably don't watch anymore, but there we go. You got it over finally. I love it.
Yeah, I listened to him when he was on here and the hook sets, but based off podcasts, I can't say who's going to catch what. But I'm going off of names. Drew, I mean, that name's mediocre. I mean, it's got little power. Ken, that shit's at like 2%, bro. That's down there. I think of a 4-door Barbie Jeep if you say Ken. So
I got to remember to clip this one for the promos. All right, and here's the most important question. So we've been doing Bass and Brews for over a year now, right? And this was actually the first so when I first came up with Bass and Brews, like it was super structured. It was kind of a bullshit show. It was very much like I'm going to give you a question and then you answer, right? It wasn't the free form thing until I brought Paul on the show. But
free form's the way to go.
Yes, exactly. But the one thing that I carried over and that we've done since the second episode of Bass and Brews is this question. Every fisherman loves a great sandwich. What are your top 3 sandwich proteins?
Salami, pepperoni. Then to throw some American in there, I got to go with ham.
No, I fucking love it. That's a solid answer, man. Listen, we've been getting some
highfalutin answers here lately with the pastrami, salami.
Bro, since you brought up sandwiches, why do when I go to Subway and I order the spicy Italian, why do they ask me what kind of cheese to put on it? Because there's only one answer.
They're legally obligated to.
No, it's fucking provolone, bro. I lived in Italy for 4 years. There's one kind of cheese that goes on an Italian sandwich, and it's provolone.
No, but you asked for a spicy Italian sandwich.
So you want provolone
or sopressata?
Salami.
Sopra. That's Sopra.
That's
But
my favorite. It's the good shit.
you asked why everybody upgrades, so I don't know if people are listening to this show more. But I'm gonna tell you what, we've had some doozies, and I love to call back to them, specifically Delirious Angler. I fucking love that dude. But he said cheese as a top 3 protein.
Get the fuck out of
And
here
then-
with your dairy.
And then Bailey from Serious Angler said spinach.
Fucking
He instantly
Get
got
the
fucking
fuck outta
roasted.
Popeye.
Bro, but what's real? So if we're not going sandwiches, what is well, I say boat snacks, but your kayaks,
Yeah.
your kayak snacks, what y'all got?
Honey buns.
Not
There we go,
bad.
honey buns.
Honey
Okay,
bun, that's
so
good
I-
energy.
I do peanuts, like
works
dry
too.
roasted peanuts.
I gotta have something for my blood sugar, man. I get angry out there if I
But
don't.
I do. I have this bad habit. I don't know if probably a lot of fishermen do. I fucking am bad about drinking or eating. Like if I'm out there, I don't do either of those. I
Yeah,
will
I'm
chain
bad about
smoke
that.
like I'll chain smoke like a
that's-
motherfucker unless I'm on
That's
camera
given.
because I've got to edit that shit out, right? So I'll dip instead. But
Man, wait. I seen Thumper over there packing his can too. What are y'all dipping?
yeah. Oh no.
Grizzly.
So I'm a little bitch. I dip Zin.
What the
Oh
hell
my
is
God.
that?
My boy Shadbird, I'm calling him out right here, bro. Shadbird
Get
dips
him.
that shit too. And Grizzly Thump, my old ladies in the house, her and all the kids dip that bullshit. Be a man. Grab Copenhagen Long Cut Original.
So
What are you in
I
the
dip-
fucking 6th grade?
I dip Zin because I don't have to spit.
Balling on a budget.
Hey, we call that the welfare bear when I was stationed at Bragg. When I was a poor ass E5,
Hey, when
I
got
called
it like
that the
it's
welfare
Copenhagen.
bear, baby. The
I like
welfare
Copenhagen
bear.
Straight.
Copenhagen Long Cut Original.
Yep.
No, I'm
My
with you
man.
though. Swamp on the boat snacks. I
Yeah.
do that same thing, especially a tournament.
peanuts.
I'll forget to eat. I'll be like, damn, I didn't eat anything today.
It's the worst. I'll go out fishing for like 8 to 10 hours, right? And then when I get off the water, I'll be shaky, and I'm like, it's not from the fish. Oh, it's because I didn't eat or fucking drink.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys are like me.
Oh yeah, I
maybe
do
you're
that
not,
all
but,
the
like,
time. The worst
mean,
is
I
to
drink-
stop in a gas
right.
station and get shit food, and then
Yeah.
you believe it's great because you ain't ate all
Yeah.
day.
And I mean, I get this from a lot of people, and maybe, I mean, everybody does it different, right? So I'm obviously a drinker. I run a show called Bass and Brews, right? But I
yeah.
don't drink alcohol when I fish at all.
I don't either.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
I-
either.
Unless, hold
Right.
on, if I'm catfishing all night, if I'm night fishing and I'm catfishing or some shit,
Yeah.
yeah. If I'm out
Yeah,
there, like,
that's
actively,
acceptable. If I'm camping and fishing, I'll kill a bottle of bourbon. I'm normally a bourbon drinker. I just bought a 12-pack for this podcast.
hell
Me too,
yeah.
brother. Me
I'm a
too.
top shelf bourbon drinker, baby.
I'm a bullet
Booker's
bourbon
fan.
guy. That's
Bullet-
that was it.
Bullet's decent.
That's what was in this bullshit cup, bullet bourbon.
Bro, hey,
So,
send me a message after this, bro. I'm in Kentucky, dude.
Mhm.
I got
I
I
love
got the
that.
lock on the bourbons.
But when I'm out fishing, and I thought it was really funny, so I brought my wife out every year for her birthday for the last 2 years. I've taken her out fishing, right? And she's like, "All right, we're gonna load up a cooler," and I'm like, I mean, if you want, like, I'm not gonna drink water. And she's like,
Yeah.
"Well, what about beers?" And I'm like, "You should know by now." So she gets fucking hammered, and then I put a couple clips on. I had to tow her ass around the river and the lake the year before.
That's
She
good.
just
'Cause you
gets-
can get nasty, bro. You can get nasty after that.
Oh no,
Get-
dude, for sure.
Yeah, that's epic, dude. That sounds like a party. That's all right.
Listen, this last trip, this is way off our script, but there is no script. Last trip is really cool. So River X, that's a river I fish on. I fucking love that thing. The people that actually watch my channel probably know that river just as much as I do because I fish that tidal portion all the time, right? I've caught my biggest fish there consistently. I haven't been skunked on that river in 4 years. Like, I know that place. I can call my shots. It's fucking solid, right? And she's always wanted to go out there, and she didn't really try before. And I took her to a lake, and we went crappie fishing, basically, right? She didn't catch any fucking crappie. All she caught was giant yellow perch and bass and pickerel. But I brought her out to this one. It was really fucking cool to bring Mandy, as Paul likes to call her, out fishing. It was awesome. It's for her 40th birthday. We went out. She didn't catch any bass, but what she did catch was almost 2-pound crappie left and fucking right.
That'll put a smile.
And dude, it was fucking awesome. I remember we fished like 3 hours, and I know like halfway through I just stopped fishing to watch her fucking enjoy how much I miss and love that fucking river. Like, she got to see the bounty that fucking river gives. It was really cool.
Yeah, that's what it's about. That's what it's about. I love taking somebody that doesn't fish and they get hooked up. That's better than me catching a double digit.
Way better.
It's the same with hunting. It's the same with hunting. Like, if I put somebody on a giant buck, I get more out of that than killing a double drop time. I love it.
Yeah. It was so cool to see her. And then there was one point, I don't even think we caught it on camera, but she was just like, "Oh, I get why you come here and why you love this." And I was like, again, she's not even catching bass, right? Like, she was just slaying crappie. And I love doing that on that river too, right? Like, when the bass fishing's bad, I usually pack an ultralight and then we'll pound like 2-pound crappie all day. Like, fucking love it. It was so awesome. Props to you, Mandy. Thank God you don't listen to this show because you're way cooler than I am.
That's what it's about right there.
You got to bring the ultralight every now and then.
No.
Especially, like, I like to do that in the wintertime, but bass fishing really sucks balls around here.
Yeah.
Just beat the shit out of the crappie.
Dude, my old lady's a trooper, dude. We're out there in the snow on Lake Cumberland, bro. We were out there in December in the snow catching smallmouth. She's all about
Props to Brandy. Props to Brandy, right? It's Brandy's your wife's name, right? Yeah.
She just smoked one in front of Boyd Duckett at Watts Bar last week in the MLF. And I was like,
fucking props.
Hey, she's going to get mad because she was listening to this, or she'll listen to this. But so we're out there. We got Brandon Coulter that's leading Group A, and we got Boyd Duckett on one side, and we're in the middle in like 35 foot of water live scoping. And I line up the live scope, and I'm like right here. And I'm throwing a big spoon, flutter spoon, and she's throwing a jackhammer because we're not poor and throwing chatterbaits. She's throwing a jackhammer. She catches a 3-pounder in front of camera boats and everything. She gets it right to the boat and starts like, "Oh my God, grab it. And I'm a stickler with nets. I'm like, I don't want a net in the boat. I hate it. It's like a banana for me. And she gets it by the boat, and I'm like, I'm just going to bend down and grab it. She hits the button on her Shimano DC, and it swims out. Luckily, it took good. She gets it back up, and I grabbed it. But that right there, that's what it's about to me. When you can put somebody, even if it's your old lady or somebody from work, when you can put somebody on and they have that moment, that's what I like. That's like me catching a 10-pounder.
Dude, we went on a tournament last weekend, and I talked to one of my best friends, Kellen. He's usually a river fisherman. He likes catfishing. He'll bass fish every now and then. I talked him into going out in this tournament with me. It was a rough day, but at the end of the day, like an hour before the tournament ended, I watched that dude haul in a 4-pound bass in a lake that was not producing fish, and that was the fucking highlight of my day. Was watching him pull this 20-inch.
But why the fuck does it happen like that? I spent $1 million. I got 43 rods in the boat, and I go out and catch fucking 6 12-inchers.
Yep.
And then some kid puts a piece of cheese on a cork and catches an 8-pounder.
It makes no sense, but I love it. I wouldn't have it.
I'm over here with fucking live scope and a hydro wave.
All right, man, Tony, this is your opportunity to thank anybody, any sponsors or would-be ones.
Yeah, let me give check out my boy Bite Me Baits of Kentucky, my boy Chad Haynes. Tell him I sent you over there. Let me give a shout out to my old lady Brandy, the kids, and hopefully I retire soon. I'm right behind you. I'm just gonna follow people from my TikTok and be like, "Hey man, I heard you at Cayuga, man. Let me come up there and crab." Yeah. I'm trying to come up there and get on smallmouth.
Fucking love it, man. All right, man. Well, it's been great. You boys hang out. We're gonna do the after show after this. If you guys want to be on the after show, you just need to make sure you check.